Nearly a quarter century after the beating of Rodney King, the question still dangles. What has changed? We know the 4 LAPD officers that beat King, they were acquitted. And so in that period of time, when we asked the question, what has changed? We've also seen a litany of names: Tamir Rice, Eric Garner, Ezell Ford, Michael Brown, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, many young African Americans gunned down or victims of violence by police officers in different cities. So again, what has changed in that quarter century? In that period of time, the Washington Post had a headline story: thousands dead, few prosecuted. Who are the few? The few, of course, are police officers. A grand total in the decade from 2005 to 2015, 54 police officers, despite the fact that there have been thousands of victims of violence, murders, killings, shootings, various types of abuse and misconduct committed by police officers. So the question is, why? That's the dangling question in the air. Why, a quarter century after Rodney King, still so few police officers indicted and even fewer convicted?
Okay, so the verdict just came in, and Officer Darren Wilson was not indicted in the murder case of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri.
NYPD cop not indicted for Eric Garner's chokehold death.
The 6 police officials that were facing criminal charges in the death of Freddy Gray have officially had all of the charges dropped against them.
Why are so many, even when they are prosecuted, so few convicted? Start with the police unions, and then continue through them. The police unions are powerful. They exert a lot of influence on police departments and district attorneys and county prosecutors. Next, let's go to district attorneys and county prosecutors. Many of them will not, in fact, the majority of them, unless there's ironclad proof or evidence of officer misconduct, it won't happen. And even then, 9 out of 10 times, it won't happen. Now we come next to why. Because remember, police, the police unions, prosecutors, they work very closely. Then you've got judges. We saw in Baltimore where you had 4 police officers that were acquitted summarily by a judge, even without a jury. Even there, you find judges with more times than not a pro-police, or even not a pro-police, but just a bias. Then you have juries. The few times that police officers wind up in the court docket, you find almost always, or at least a reluctance on the part of juries to convict. Why? Jurors are conditioned to believe the best of the best about police officers. They're conditioned to believe that police are honorable, above board, and they don't lie. Certainly not commit abuse or misconduct. That's drilled into the mindset of the general public. So oftentimes you have middle-class jurors. It makes no difference what their ethnicity is. There's always going in a pro-police bias. Then you have stereotypes about young African Americans, crime, drugs, violence, gangs. That is prevalent in society. And of course, it's also prevalent in the thinking of those in the criminal justice system. Look at the mass incarceration rate, and you see that. Then you also have something else. You also have the fear of crime in America. Police are the front lines. Police are the guardians. Police are traditionally looked to in society as our protectors and our defenders. If that's the case, then you find that many people are always reluctant to think, the police can do wrong, commit misconduct. That's not the case. So you're battling a lot of things: judges, juries, police unions, district attorneys, county prosecutors, the fear of crime, the sacred trust that people have in police, stereotypes of young African Americans. It all adds up to a very, very complex, but in even many cases, maybe beyond that, an almost impenetrable barrier. How to bring law enforcement, bad cops that break the law, that wantonly commit acts of violence, how to bring them to justice. That's a major problem. That's a major concern. And in the 25 years since Rodney King, needless to say, it's really a concern that still not only has not been addressed, but it's a concern that many, many millions of people are concerned with how to address that.